What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for another series preview. I said it again, not series preview, season preview. I've said series preview so much. Let me fix this. This is really bugging me. Make sure that's out of the way. All right, perfect. So we have the Montreal Canadiens now. Montreal back in the playoffs for the first time since they lost in the Stanley Cup Final in 2021. Their GM, Kent Hughes, who was named the year after Bergevin was finally fired. He's now in year 5, as is Coach Martin St. Louis, who both took over during the 21-22 NHL season. So it's hard to believe St. Louis has been the coach of Montreal for 5 years now, but he's watched this team grow, and he's a pretty good coach, is what we figured out pretty quickly. Forward group, Caulfield, $7.85 million until 2031. He's locked in. Suzuki, $7.875 million until 2030. He's locked in. Slafkovsky, $7.6 million until 2033. Locked in. For your top 3 players, only costing that much, fantastic. Then you have Bolduc, who was acquired 1-for-1 with Malu. So he's an RFA this upcoming season, after the season. So he'll slot into that second line left wing. Then you have Kirby Dach, if he can stay healthy, $3.362 million until 2026, where he's also an RFA. And then Demidov's an RFA in 2027. Demidov, strong case for Rookie of the Year for sure. On the third line, you have Gallagher, $6.5 million until 2027. Newhook, $2.9 million until 2027. And Anderson, $5.5 million until 2027. Gallagher and Anderson's contracts, you're waiting for those to expire if you're Montreal. Newhook's an RFA at the end of his, so there's not too much trouble there. Then on the fourth line, you have Veleno, who was acquired after Seattle bought him out. $900,000 until 2026, where he will also be an RFA. Jake Evans was extended for 4 years, $2.85 million until 2029. And the real wild card is Patrick Laine, $8.7 million until 2026. Puckpedia has him on the fourth line. How much ice time is he going to get? He's kind of a black hole defensively, but if he gets into that top 6, who are you kicking out, realistically? If Bolduc can play a bit of center, maybe you put him on a line there, because you assume Doc's going to get hurt. But it's a real question mark up front there, like what you do with Patrick Laine. Possibly he even gets moved since his contract expires at the end of the year. You have a lot of depth up front, though. You have Oliver Kapanen, who's an RFA in 2027. You have Joshua Waugh, who's an RFA in 2026. Sammy Blais comes over after winning the Calder Cup with the Abbotsford Canucks. Belzil's also here. Mizar, who's another one of their prospects they're waiting to come up and hit the lineup. Oscar Beck. Or no, is it Oscar? No, Oscar Beck's in Dallas. Owen Beck is in Montreal. You're just waiting to see him become more prominent in the lineup. You have Kandata, and you also have Hage. Hage isn't going to play this season, but definitely some names to look for. Montreal's young, and they could get even younger. On the defensive side, you have Matheson, $4.875 million until 2026. He's been fantastic in Montreal. Matheson revived his career by coming to Montreal, and he's probably not going to score as much because now Dobson's there, and you already had Hudson taking over some of that scoring last year. But Matheson, possibility he gets extended, but also you have some defensemen waiting to take over spots, which we'll get to. Then you have Dobson, who came over from the Islanders, $9.5 million until 2033. That number 1 defenseman on the Islanders right now for sure. You have Gooley, $5.55 until 2031. Good contract for him. Lane Hudson, your Calder winner, RFA in 2026. He's going to get paid some money. Arbor Xhekaj, $1.3 million until 2026, where he's also an RFA. A lot of RFAs is what I'm telling you. And Carrier, who they traded for Justin Barron at middle of last season, $3.75 million until 2027. You have Struble, who was an RFA in 2027 as well, $1.412 million cap hit. You also have Reinbacher, who's just had so much injury problems, and you wonder if he's ever going to hit his full potential, because he was drafted in, I think, 5th overall, and was it 2023, and he's still not made his NHL debut because he's had all these injuries, and it's really unfortunate for him. Moving on to the goaltending, you have Montembeault, $3.15 until 2027. And they surprisingly bought in Kakkonen, $1.15 million until 2026. I thought Dobes would have earned the starting spot not the starting spot, the backup position in Montreal, but they bring in Kakkonen. Maybe they split the net. Maybe Kakkonen's the third goaltender. Then you also have Fowler coming up. He's not on the board, but Fowler's a name to watch for Montreal's goaltending. They're kind of turning out goaltenders as of late. So Kakinen comes in and kind of replaces Caden Primo, which we'll get to. Dobes is already mentioned. He's an RFA in 2027. And looking at your entire list of additions and subtractions, Bolduc comes in, Veleno, Dobson, Kakinen, and Blais. So Bolduc and Dobson were traded for. Veleno, Kakinen, and Blais come in as free agents. Then subtractions, you have Mailloux, who is traded for Bolduc. St. Louis needed more defensive depth and a younger defenseman to come up as their defense core is getting really old. And so Mailloux, he goes over to St. Louis. Dvorak goes to Philly in free agency. Armia goes to LA. David Savard retires. Hymanen is part of the trade with Dobson going to the Islanders. Pizzetta goes to Toronto. Caden Primo is traded to Carolina to be their third goalie. Barbolet goes to Colorado. And Harvey Pinard goes to Pittsburgh. So a lot of depth lost, but there's still a lot of depth here, and it's a very young team. If I'm a Montreal fan, I'm pretty excited. If there's one thing I can say, it's going to be that Slafkovsky has to take the next step. Demidov has the potential to be the star scorer you need. You already have Caulfield who could score. Demidov could be that pure sniper you need. Slafkovsky needs to take that next step in order for this team to be elite. We saw how quickly they were outed by Washington in 5 games. And I'll be honest, if Washington had played any other team, I think they would have been squashed. The fact that they played Montreal got them to the second round. So if Montreal ended up against any other team in the East, I think they would have been swept in 4, personally. Montreal, very young team, though. There's a lot of hope on the horizon, and it shows how in 4 years so much could change. Montreal had the benefit that going into their rebuild, they already had some pieces here. Caulfield, Suzuki were already here. Gallagher and Anderson were at the start of their contracts more so. Jake Evans was already a part of that team. And there were some other pieces here. Montembeault was here. And yeah. So for Montreal, very exciting team to watch to look forward in the upcoming seasons. Last year they went 40, 31, and 11 for 91 points, which was 16th in the NHL. So they're looking to improve on that going forward. And can they pass any of these teams in the Atlantic? You have Toronto, probably not. Tampa, probably not. Florida, probably not. Ottawa, possibility there. Detroit, you have to make sure you're staying ahead of Detroit and staying ahead of Buffalo as well as Boston. But for Montreal, I think they should be in the playoffs to stay. Now the question is, can their consistency hold up? Because if you look at the last generation of Montreal, you want to look from around 2000 and let's say 12 until the present. They've been very inconsistent in and out of the playoffs every couple of years, like 2011. From 2008 until 2011, they were in. Then 2012, they're out. 2013 and 14, they're back in. In 2015, 2015 they were in, and then 2016 they were out. And 17 they were in, and then 18 they were out. It was a whole cluster, and then it kind of wasted Carey Price's career because of that. Who is also, I should mention, his last year of LTIR. His contract ends after this season, so that cap hit is done. So Montreal, while over the cap right now, the LTIR is okay for them. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know down below, how far do you think Montreal is going to go this season? How much do they improve? And will they be the next Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup? As right now, they're young and they look like they could go for another 10 seasons in the playoffs. So can one of those years be the one that a Canadian team finally lifts the cup, or will it be the Oilers or the Maple Leafs? Had to mention them. Or another team. Let me know down below. Since Montreal's got the most cups, do you think anyone can challenge them for that next Canadian Stanley Cup? Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I shall see you all in the next one. Have a good one.